with this thing on camp. Nobody gets free.
Well, we live now. What?
Nobody
We live. Y'all know what it is. The RealSh NoJoke show. Hey, Nat. How y'all doing? We missed y'all. It's been a minute. We got the Jay.
What's up, everybody?
And to his left, we got comedian OC, don't OD, OCD Zone.
Oh.
Whoop, whoop.
What's up? What's up?
Thank y'all for coming to the show
Yes,
tonight.
yes.
Yeah, I want my look at that breast.
Oh, you need to stop. Oh, you need to stop.
OC, can you put that down there so we can get a shot of everybody
I'm just trying to
and Facebook land?
I got a padded undershirt on.
If you could do it, you want to tuck it to the side, you can do that too.
I may need that.
Oops,
And just, yeah.
Oops, I just.
Yo, it's so much to talk about, but this Corona thing is like it's taking over. You watch the news, all you hear is Corona and the weather.
Yes.
Corona and the weather. Yo, we thank y'all guys for coming in.
Yeah,
And, you know, hope y'all immune system is nice and strong.
trust me,
Y'all, you doing a vitamin C thing. But this is
I'm eating all the seeds.
this the RealSh NoJoke show. And it's all based on hope and harmony and healing all through humor.
And homing.
And homing. So again, we thank y'all guys for coming out. And we are very interested in knowing what are y'all doing right now. You know,
All right.
and I think the Kenny got some questions off the top.
Oh, yeah.
You know, learn a little more about
Kenny
y'all.
got some, let me see. The kid got ADHD, so she's gonna have to pause Facebook Live right now.
It's turkey.
Yeah,
She got a whole list.
I got a whole list because we waited for y'all to come.
Yes.
It is the new year, it's 2020.
Right.
It is COVID-19.
Oh, that's what they call it.
COVID.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's the, come on, y'all, give it the medical terms. Come on now.
I'm a little slow.
Don't be slower because you'll catch that shit, but y'all
Right?
is not in Africa. Hello.
Look, I ain't catching nothing.
Melanated people can't get it. We are immune.
Yeah, we not.
I had sex at the Blue Moon before and I ain't catch nothing, so.
The blue moon.
Yeah. I can say that here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
RealSh
funny.
NoJoke.
No joke.
How many years was that?
He said no.
It was years ago, but still, I mean, I ain't catch nothing then.
I hope it's more than 10 years ago because Blue Moon done went down. At least 10 years been going
Blue
down.
Moon went down 25 years ago.
All right, so
Oh,
we're over
goodness.
25 years ago. All right.
Hey, back then?
Well, you already told us a little bit of something. I think the questions going to fit. He already, you know. Tell us
Back
some
then,
good
25
stuff.
years ago?
25 years ago, he was out there getting that on the Blue Moon floor.
How much were they?
How much were they? Well, we're not going to talk about that right now. My wife might be listening and,
Hey.
Hey,
and know how much I was spending.
segue.
You're trying to get me in trouble already.
All right.
I'm trying to get you out. I'm trying to get you out. Joe trying to get you in. Nope. First question for you, OC, since he won't put you on the spot. You said you went to the Blue Moon so many years ago. Were you doing comedy back then?
No, I started comedy January 12th of 2010.
All right. Wow. January 12th.
10-year anniversary. Congratulations, baby.
Thank you.
Right. We gonna get. I said something. Then we said that Sunday.
So be the effect right now.
Second question then. So that was the first question. How many years have you been doing comedy? So since 2012. 10. January 12th.
January 12th.
Second question is, what started your comedy career?
I was on radio for years, and I was hosting hip hop shows, like a bunch of them across the country, and people always said I was funny, and I was just like, I'm not trying to be. And they, like I said, they just said, you should try comedy. So a friend of mine had an open mic. It was just like a variety open mic, and I said I was gonna go down there and try comedy. I tried it and got hooked to it, and yeah, since 2010, you know, on and off, couple life situations maybe stopped for a little bit, but yeah, on and off since 2010.
On and off since 2010. So you started out doing hip hop Shows.
On the radio. You said
On the
I was
radio.
on
So,
the radio.
was you doing talk or was it?
Right, that's what I wanted to get into.
I was
Good
a
job,
host of Fisher Street Radio. We were
Mhm.
a online radio show,
Mhm.
and then we got syndicated onto actual FM radio in Virginia and Baltimore.
Wow.
And I was, just hosting like I said, just hip hop shows for like showcases,
Mhm.
and then I went into just like actual real, big shows. I hosted for Jadakiss, Styles P.
That's awesome.
Drop
some names, baby.
Name drop.
Go ahead.
I've done a bunch of,
My sound effect.
So I
That
did
same
that.
sound
Like I said,
effect,
I was funny on stage with people. And they were like, yo, you should try comedy. So I tried it.
And you hit
It
it.
was a wreck.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
So you was doing bids pretty much and not even realizing it.
Seriously.
Like you was doing sets and jokes and punchlines and shit.
Trying not to get killed in shot.
I mean, I guess, I was up there drunk most of the time. I might drink once a month now.
There was some
once a month
old
now,
days.
but, yeah, I was drinking. So I would just go up there and just say little dumb funny stuff because a lot of it, when I first started, was just regular showcases of
Mhm.
local talent,
Right.
And it was horrible. And
He's gonna leave it right there. It was horrible.
And I
It
was
was
so
horrible.
trash about it, and then
Trash.
people thought it was funny. And when I started getting bigger shows, getting a broader audience, and
Mhm.
that's what happened. So, right.
Who's your favorite artist you ever?
The favorite artist that I've ever hosted, like on my radio show or a show that I hosted.
Both.
Well, my favorite radio show was Capone and Noriega. They were no.
Yo.
I will take that back. You know what?
What?
When he wasn't on
Sorry,
the
that's on the Noriega.
Oh,
He's taking that back.
No, I will take it
That was
back
decent.
because he wasn't officially on the radio show,
Okay.
but I did interview him for the radio show.
Wow.
But Redman was probably the best.
Woo, okay.
Redman was
Oh,
probably
they
the best
supposed to do it.
because
Wow.
I was drunk as hell. He was high.
You smoked in the room, I'm sure.
And,
Brought the
and I
love
say,
in.
as far as like hip hop shows, God rest his soul, but Sean Price from Helter Skelter.
Yeah. Wow.
Only because Sean Price didn't eat meat, and we was in the green room,
Mhm.
and it was a big hoagie tray, and he didn't touch none of it and left it with me. But, no, but he and I became like really good friends, like
Right.
brothers, and in his past, and like
Wow.
I have so many stories about just being with him. But
Mhm.
yeah, those are my two
Okay.
hip hop
You
shows.
said Redman, you like big girls.
Nice.
Redman was big.
You like big girls.
Not to even go into the.
I like him too.
Okay, Nick, as you put the
You said
candy
you've
in
been
there.
doing this for 10 years overall.
Mhm.
And you said at different times you've had gaps due to personal reasons.
Mhm.
So my question to you is, has there been a time when comedy has either brought you through a situation, like a true dramatic situation, in a sense where it's kind of saved you,
All the times that I went and took those breaks, and when I did come back, it was because I needed the outlet.
Mhm.
And not like I hate name dropping stuff, but if it wasn't for people like Mel Harris,
Yes.
who would call me,
Good brother.
people like Toure,
Yes.
and
Good brother.
I don't know if y'all know DJ A Squared, but people like them would
Yes.
call me like, yo, like you're wasting your talent, like what are you doing?
Mhm.
And I would say, oh, well, let me just jump back on stage, try to, get out this little rut. And yeah, so I'll say, majority, well, every time that, that we had, like 2 years ago, I came back to comedy after taking a year break.
Yeah.
So,
I don't just mean coming back to comedy. I mean, you're at home or in your car, you got a situation that's happened and it's traumatic and you can kind of lose your mind. But
Like
there
a
is
tragedy.
but there is a way that you can look at it and kind of smile about it.
oh yeah, pretty much everything that.
Let me run that back.
Everything that I, think about and talk about on stage was majority of it is real life true stuff.
All right, so give us
That
something.
has went on. Like, what do you mean?
Anything. Give us something. What has comedy saved you with? Like, where did you
What
laugh
saved
at?
you from?
Where was you ready to cry and you just bust out laughing?
Was it 2 years ago?
Okay.
My sister passed away,
Mhm.
and I went down to Jordan to her funeral, but it was like the most ghetto fabulous thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
No.
Yeah. So, and in a time of not wanting to be on the quote unquote happy, spectrum,
Yeah.
it was just funny to me the whole week that I was down there because I was meeting people I never met before,
Uh-huh.
and then the way that people just came into her funeral, like, you know what I mean? On live, like, what are you on live for at the funeral? Like, you know, and I don't mean just like on live on some, you know, walking in like next to the casket, like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Wow.
You know what I mean? On here.
Taking pictures of the
All right, I'm gonna say it like this.
Yeah.
I didn't. All right. I didn't do that at the funeral because I was asked to do it. However, I shaved my father for his homegoing. And in the coffin, they got the head all propped up. I promise you, I got like 7 pictures where I'm like this with my dad in his coffin and my head right next to him. And it's crazy because it was just a way for me to have that moment, that last moment. And the beautiful thing is, he really, how to say, he looked like he was resting. There was just his face, there was no wrinkles or nothing in his head.
He looked nice.
Well, he's a nice man. Like my father's skin was that.
He looked good.
So I mean, it was just beautiful.
Right.
And it was, it's crazy to me because I felt like when you love somebody, you don't have that fear. Because there's times I went to funerals, especially when I was younger, I didn't even want to touch the casket.
Right.
But then it's like somebody I love, it's like you still see me as an
inhibition. Yeah.
Right?
But like certain stuff, like, you know, I understand that, but certain stuff to me just don't need to be
Right,
done.
I'm
Like,
just-
when
I didn't post the pictures, y'all. I didn't post
I'm
them.
not saying you, but like, I hate when I look on Facebook and it'd be like they just have a baby, or the baby is, you know, going through some situation or dying, and they got the baby on Facebook pictures with tubes all in their nose and
It's
stuff.
just,
You know, pay for
You all
little
bossed
man.
up like
yeah, it's just privacy. You see,
Yeah,
certain
like,
things are sacred.
Or it's to the point where even when they have birth, and the baby ain't even washed off yet.
I'm good.
He still got after birth one.
I'm good.
And you
I
can
haven't seen no videos. I'm grateful.
That's-
I don't watch that
that's
channel.
birth
I
control.
don't watch
Yeah,
that
I'm
channel.
seeing that.
No, it's
That's-
not. It's
No,
like people.
that's
like people be in the hospital and everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said that. I don't like that.
Like a lot of that stuff just annoys the heck out of me. But
Yeah.
I went off track with your question. But yeah, that was the time when my sister passed and her ghetto fabulous funeral.
How does your family accept your comedy?
I don't think my wife think I'm funny. And this has been me. Like, I'm a real laid back person. A lot of people don't know that. Because y'all see me in comedy mode.
Right.
But when people call me, like one person always calls me and is Lamont Max. Every time he calls me, first thing he says to me, yo, bro, will you sleep? No, I'm just chilling. Like, I'm just a laid back person, but when I come out the house for comedy, I get in comedy.
Yes.
So y'all always see the hyper, happy go lucky.
It's kind of like top flight.
Yeah,
He's like kind of calm.
He knows
Yeah,
he's
he's
a
a stage,
Scorpio.
but all that
Scorpio.
calm.
That's like Joe too. Joe is very laid back and very quiet.
Only because I ain't got a lot of energy.
But that's the thing with me. Once I come out for comedy,
It's a wrap.
my energy is always, hey, what's going on?
Right, right.
But when I'm home, and there's a difference between OC Diesel
Yes.
and Octavius.
Yes.
It's a difference.
Yes.
When I'm home with my family, I just want to chill.
Oh, Steve, who the fuck is that other person? I'm sorry. Who?
Yeah.
Who?
You heard it, but
Yeah,
Octavius, that's me.
That's the name I
Yeah,
said.
but I just chill back. You know what I mean? But when I'm, you know, out and ready to do comedy
you
or in the
on.
comedy, I'm me. You know, I'm you know, OCD.
Yeah, that's kind of
All the
like,
way.
You know?
All the way.
So Joe, we got some questions for you, but I'm gonna ask you, this legacy of laughs, what is that about?
Legacy
Let's see
of
your shirt. Let's see your shirt. What is this?
I'll
What
tell you,
is this?
Legacy.
Legacy of Laughs is a company that's ran and owned by myself and my business partner, Isaac Bromfield. We started it, started 2.5 years ago. But as far as the legal, you know, situation with Legacy of Laughs LLC, we started 2 years ago on March 18th.
All right.
So,
We got an anniversary coming up.
this Saturday, 14th, is our anniversary show.
All right. Look at his patch. Look at his patch.
What happened was, Isaac's brother died some years ago, and they wanted to have a memorial, little show for him. And I didn't know Isaac at all. I knew his cousin because I did a tour, for his cousin.
Okay.
For the Fat Tour, which three of his funny ass trio. And his cousin was like, "Look, let's do a comedy show. I know some comedians." So he called me, went out there, we did it. Long story short, me and Isaac became really close and cool after I did that show for his brother. And Chambersburg was an untapped market. Nothing goes on out there. It's dead out there.
It sounds like Chambers.
So Nicole and Jay, when they both been under, so they know.
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
You still do what I asked you to do. But we're gonna jump past that.
Damn.
Don't say that.
We're gonna jump
You'll
past
see
that.
my face? Don't be like Bikini.
I'm just saying, did you call Anwar Amin? No.
Did I call Anwar Amin?
Yes, I told you to call Anwar, who was it's the other promoter that helps us with our show. You never called him. But anyway.
Moving on.
What we got?
So,
Anwar got you today.
He wanted to, keep his brother's, legacy alive because his brother, was always a funny guy, whatever. So he was like, look, let's just, and we can't just come with the name Legacy of Laughs. It wasn't like, no special, like, hoodoo that, gave us the name.
Okay.
And that's what it is. We want to, just keep his brother's legacy alive with just laughter.
Got it.
Yeah, 2 years later, we're still here.
That's nice.
Had a show every month except two. Maybe some of them was 2 a month in Chambersburg. For the last 2 years and 2 months. So that's what Legacy of Laughs is.
That's a legacy in itself. I mean, OC.
Nice.
Last question we got for you, Wo, is what legacy do you want to leave on life? What is your legacy you want to leave?
I mean, it's not with comedy, but I just want people to know, that I love family, and the family togetherness is the biggest thing that matters to me. And my legacy, is that I was a good person, I did whatever it took. I don't care what it was, how I wanted to take care of my family, be there for my family, and set an example for my family. Like, one thing that always made me feel good was years ago I used to have braids. And my brother was the biggest Ludacris, or not my brother, my son was the biggest Ludacris fan ever. And
I used to be too.
He used to love
I still am.
He wanted braids, so my wife braided his hair one day, and my wife said to him, he had to be about a good 7 or 8, and my wife said to him, you getting braids like Ludacris, huh? And he was like, no, I'm getting braids like my dad. And he was like, my dad, my hero, and that's supposed to be all sentimental.
That's
stuff,
that's beautiful.
But those type of things is what those type of things is what I want people to remember me for, is being somebody that sets an example as well as somebody that gives chances. When it comes to comedy, I never say the list of, but there's a list of people in this city that are on flyers that y'all see every day, that are on Facebook, Instagram, y'all see every day, that I put on stage for their very first time.
I can believe that.
When nobody else would give them a chance, I gave them that chance.
You sure did. You brought me down there. You put me on. You put me on.
I had my first show.
I mean, y'all were already comedians when I met y'all. I mean, the very first time that they said, look, I want to try comedy, nobody else would give them a chance because they never did comedy.
Did you put Tata on the stage for the first?
No.
Who?
I don't want to,
That's
pop those in.
Damn, Jay.
That's real.
Dun, 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 dun.
Can I ask you this? What's your favorite? How do you describe your type of comedy?
I really don't know. Just being honest, it all depends on how I feel that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Situational.
Yeah. I do say a lot of things that people think about but are scared to say. But also, like I said, it all depends. You know what I mean? On the feel I have it that night. People have said that I remind them of the uncle at the cookout. That just says little, random stuff. You know what I mean? Make people laugh and just joke.
I don't see you selling random stuff. I see your uncle at the barbecue with
But
ribs.
not old.
You let it to the grill.
Not old though.
I stand there and bust the shit with you and drink a 40 ounce.
I'm not the most physical comedian. I do have a few jokes, where I move around a bit, but I don't know. I that's a question I've never been asked, and maybe I should think about it. But like I said, I don't really have I don't want to put myself in a box. I'm like a so and so. I'm just OCD. So you got to come out and see me.
Do you feel yourself being more seasoned as the time go by? Do you feel like you're getting better?
I feel like I'm getting better. I'm still always nervous before a show. At shows, you might see me. At shows, you might see me off to myself a little bit. And some people think I'm just antisocial. I'm not antisocial.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your mind,
That's
right?
your
That's a lot.
That's one thing I want to get clear today.
Clear it up.
We antisocial. I'm
Not
not.
antisocial.
He's
right?
not antisocial.
He's not.
I just want to, my space for a little bit.
I agree.
And that's
I agree.
respectable.
Beforehand.
Yes.
I believe.
But I still get nervous before every show. And once I get on stage and I get that first joke on,
Yeah.
it goes away. But I always said to myself, the day that I'm not nervous before a show,
Stop doing it.
Right. I mean, you don't care no more.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
done. I done got
I mean, not
They
here,
ain't paying you
but
enough.
in general,
no,
I'm sorry.
I
Your
don't care no
passion,
more.
yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't care about it no more. I got too cocky for
Right.
myself.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're
still
absolutely right.
yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. It makes me feel like I don't care no more. I'm gonna just go ahead and give them whatever.
Right.
Because it matters to me what I'm
What you
getting.
putting out.
Some people go for a check. I go for a check too.
Let it be clear, we all go for a check,
But I
okay?
also go
A check,
for-
check.
Just like the coach says, I also still go for the art. I
Amen.
still go for the crowd. I go for the people. I go for the people to get what they came out
Yeah.
for.
Right,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They come out to laugh.
right.
I've seen cats get up there and stink it up. And then 5 minutes later, they on Instagram or Facebook, yo, I just killed it tonight. No, you
Yeah.
killed it.
You killed that.
You killed it. You
I
killed
killed all
You
right.
killed the
Bomb.
vibe. You
It's
killed
the
the
It's the
vibe.
whole room.
Yeah.
That's somebody gonna clean up the spill.
I'm not gonna rap too much longer.
Do y'all watch comedy?
Yeah, I'm a student of comedy.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, this is what I'm saying, Joe. We're gonna get to you.
Y'all know y'all listen to the RealSh NoJoke show.
No
We have,
joke. I'm working on us having a little theme song. So
We have
no
comedian,
joke.
promoter, Joe Nixon, and comedian OCD. So if y'all want to call in and ask some questions or share a joke, please do so. Y'all know the number 215-909-6070.
6070.
No, too much.
Hey now, talk to us, Joe. You heard them questions. We're gonna shoot them right there. Go ahead.
First question, what was it? How many years have you been doing comedy? Was the first question.
I think 12 years.
The first question was, how did you start with the comedy? That's what we wasn't gonna do.
I'm sorry.
Well-
How many years have you been doing comedy? Is the first question.
12 years.
Yo, did y'all know each other? Did y'all two, have y'all worked
That was
together?
a-
No, we never.
Wow.
That's my
Wow.
first time.
That's how I was.
Wait. This is your first time meeting?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The two of you on
But y'all
one
know each
screen,
other.
first time meeting?
That's we do. We bring them together, y'all.
All this weight on one side.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did
you like
anybody
that
else
large.
notice their
Yeah, you
first
like
time
remember
meeting?
that group? Remember
I'm
that
so alone.
Oh, so you sing too.
large?
That's my
That was-
song.
Yeah, on the vert.
So Joe, what started with comedy?
Oh man, you know what? I was a general manager for McDonald's in Exton.
Okay.
Your story, right?
And
Yo.
I used to mess with this girl, and we used to go to Lancaster, which is like 45 minutes away. Have fun. So anyway,
No, we don't know.
so anyway, we saw this sign for a comedy club, a Tanya Village Comedy Club in Lancaster. And she was like, well, you know what? You always said you was funny, so why don't you go in there and check it out? So I went in there, and they were just announcing open mic contest.
Mhm.
So I signed up for it. Like 15 people signed up for it.
Okay.
So I said, all right. I signed up for it. Everybody got up there, did their thing. I got up there, did my thing. I ended up winning.
Wow.
So the
So you
owner,
don't sing.
yeah. So the owner come up to me and said, look, how long you been doing comedy?
Mhm.
I was like,
What did you talk about? What was your set? What did you do?
I just whatever came to mind.
Wow.
It was whatever came to mind.
Double,
And a lot of
double.
people don't know this. I was a secular comic. The first 2 years in comedy.
Really?
Yeah, I was a secular comic.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
For
now you
those
don't
that don't know,
curve.
can you explain,
You don't
can you
talk about
define secular? Wait, hold on, Nicole, let them just
Yeah.
define secular first, so everybody know what that, if they
Well,
don't know.
nothing was
Comedian.
off limits. I will curse, I will talk about sex and
Violence.
violence, whatever came to mind.
I'm sorry.
That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
I'm shifting. I'm
Yeah.
shifting it.
And I am. That's,
Can you just have
You
different
can-
sets? Do you have to not do one? You just have
You said you get
different sets.
because I like, that was one of my biggest fears was to do a clean comedy show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because, not cursing, but just my content.
Right.
And, I commend people like you, like Chanel,
Mhm.
people, comedian Joshua, like people who can do. That was
Yeah.
always one of my biggest fears. So
Yeah.
I commend y'all with that.
Yes.
I just started taking the N word out, so.
Baby steps.
Right.
But,
Baby
baby
steps.
Wait, what did you
Baby
replace
steps.
it with?
I don't even like
Idiot.
do whatever.
Negro.
Does it come to you to remember to do it, or now is it more natural?
It's
Just
more
better?
natural, so it's like, this, I'll be like, this dude right here.
Okay.
So yeah,
Mhm.
but sorry for jumping in.
No,
no,
cool,
that was
cool.
good.
But I commend you on that one.
Definitely.
It's cool. Yeah, so I ended up winning.
Mhm.
What did
And,
you win?
a chance
brand
to
new
host-
car.
no, I won a chance to host
Oh.
Wow.
some of the shows.
Okay.
Early on in my career, it was unbelievable because I got a chance to work with Kevin James.
Mm.
I got a chance to work with Ray Romano.
Oh, that's good.
These are people that I've done comedy shows with. The Asian guy from Hangover.
Oh,
I
wow.
did a show with him.
The one who's on the Masked Singer now.
The
yes.
doctor, yeah.
Mhm.
Who else did I worked with a lot of people. It was one guy that was on The Sopranos I
Mhm.
worked with. So I worked with a lot of different comedians that are major stars now.
Mhm.
I did a lot of shows with them
Mhm.
before I really, knew who they were, how
Uh-huh.
big they were.
Before you realize.
I used to open up for Tony Roberts.
Wow.
Which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too. I worked with him. Who else have I worked with?
Well, listen, as you go down the thought process, because I'm just thinking of, as you are naming these names, who gave you the best nugget from those experiences or meetups, who you spoke with? You know how you guys give us
Yeah.
side, we getting strategic gum up with y'all about.
Well, you know who
comedy
gave
and
me
success.
the best advice in reference to comedy
Mhm.
was when I was on tour with Joe Torre.
Uh-huh.
When I was on tour with Joe Torre, we were overseas, and at the end of the tour, we got a chance to actually sit down and talk in his room for hours.
Nice.
And the funny story was, Joe was kind of like, he kind of like a prima donna a little bit.
Mhm.
So, when we did the shows, I think we were contracted to do 4 or 5 shows.
Okay.
But one particular show, Joe was late. So I was only scheduled to do a half an hour. So Joe was running late. So when I looked at the promoter, he said, keep going, keep going. So I kept going.
Wow.
I looked back over after 40 minutes, he was like, keep going. So I kept going. So
So where was this material coming from? What was you doing?
it was just.
Was you doing crowd work at this point?
But you know what was crazy? I just started writing down material about 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Everything I did prior to that
It was straight off the
came
cuff.
off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Wow.
And you know why I started writing stuff down? Because people would see me on the street and recite one of my
And
jokes.
say, hey, remember, you be like, what?
And I'd be like, hold on, let me write that down. Hold on. What did I
It was
say?
good. It was good.
It was funny.
Yeah.
What did I say after that?
Right,
Right.
What else did I say?
So because I was never really a writer. You know what I mean? I never
Yeah.
wrote anything down. I got on stage, I'm gonna tell you the first years of comedy,
Wow.
I got on stage and I winged it every time. So you never saw the same show.
Mhm.
You never saw the same show. There's no video of me. And I used to videotape when I used to do secular comedy. There's no video of me doing the same set.
Right.
There was always something different all the time. So I actually started writing stuff down.
No, even though you did a different set, was there maybe one joke that kind of carried out? You knew that was a killer joke, so you always kind of put that in your set no matter what?
Right.
Yeah, like.
It was about,
Like a trademark.
yes, it was a joke I did about my wife sleeping with the landlord.
Whoa!
Child. Child.
Which is,
Y'all didn't pay the rent this.
This is a true.
we still pay the rent.
This is a true story.
When I was a secular comedian, I did this joke about my wife sleeping with the landlord.
Wow.
And it's true. It's true.
Life.
And she used to be in the audience when
That's
I used to
crazy.
do this joke. And people used to be like, oh man, well, if your wife was here, I was like, she's sitting right over there.
Oh!
Real talk.
Yeah,
Real
I used to
talk.
do a joke about my wife hoeing backwards.
Hoeing.
Hoeing backwards.
I never heard of that.
Hoeing backwards. Yeah.
So your
That
wife
was
was
my
very
sig-
supportive of your comedy.
No, she wasn't.
Was not. She
used to be like, oh, I hope you bomb. And every time, this is my ex-wife, not my current wife. But every time she would say, I hope you bomb. I have a great show.
Wow.
What?
You know what I mean? I'd be like, so how you want me to do tonight? Huh? You gonna bomb? Yup. And I go out there and I kill it. But I got a chance to work with a lot of prominent comedians in the game early on, before I became anybody. Because a lot of people don't know this. My middle name is Bernard. Bernard. So people used to call me Vern, or Big Vern, when I first started doing comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I never went by a joke. And when I started making the transformation from secular comedy to clean, it was when my mother passed in 2005. So when she passed, I started going by my first name, which is Joe. And that's when I started doing clean. From that day that I stopped doing secular, I started doing clean and never went back.
Now, did it have anything to do with your mother passing on?
It had a lot to do with it. Because like I said, no one ever called me Joe. Everybody always called me Bernard or Big Vern or whatever. But I remember my mother telling me before she passed, like a year before she passed, she said, you don't have to cuss to be funny. Your dad's funny. Your grandfather's funny. You don't have to cuss to be funny. And what really got me was when my kids were younger, my oldest two children were younger, when I used to let them look at the videotape of me doing comedy, they couldn't watch the whole thing because it was always me cussing and
Right.
and I got convicted. I said, oh, I can't cuss no more.
Right.
And so when I started doing clean, it was like when somebody paid me, like somebody paid me to do comedy at a funeral, at a repast. This funeral director contacted me and was like, look, I want you to do, you know.
And we got problems taking pictures with the funeral. We're going live.
So we can do comedy.
No.
Why is a funeral? But it's clean, Jay.
They wanted
Apparently
me to
taking pictures of
they
dirt.
wanted me to do comedy at the repast. And I did.
Wow.
And one of the greatest feelings is when someone lose someone and they can come up to you and be like, yo, you know, I've been out of it for the last 3 weeks or so.
Right.
You really lightened up my day.
So in a situation like
I would
that,
want my
that's
funeral to be. I
crazy.
would want my funeral to be a comedy show.
You did.
Yeah, well, I didn't finish, but I'll talk when I get
Yeah, go.
No, share.
please. And something like that, are you talking about, do you know the person that you're talking about the person personally, or are you just talking about death and life and making fun of that?
Like one of the jokes I did.
Y'all.
One of the jokes I did was, you know, every time somebody passed, we always say that we hope they're looking down on us.
Right.
But let's be real, we hoping he looking up. They fell out. You know what I mean? And I was like, ain't too much you can say about, you know, Killer Ray. You know what I mean? To me, nice thing you can say. Killer Ray. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. If this was Killer Ray, you know what I mean? What you gonna say? He spared one less bullet.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
My thing was, it was a highly publicized murder also that I had to do. It was years ago. It was a guy. He was killed at the Phillies game. One guy who was killed at the Phillies game. He spilled beer on somebody by accident, drunk, and they stomped him out.
Yeah.
Well, I got contacted by somebody in his family that I knew, and that he saw me host hip hop shows and it was funny, and he wanted me to come to the repast and perform. And the whole time I'm like, I'm not going there. I ain't doing that. Like, this is crazy. I'm like, what am I going to say to these people? First off, I'm this ghetto dude from South Philly about to perform in front of all these Italian people that I don't know.
You from South Philly?
About that, no, but I didn't know none of them.
Right.
Hello.
And, you know, I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And the only joke that I did have that with talking quote unquote about death was I have a joke that, you know, I do sometimes about I want to go to hell. And, you know, when I die, I want to go to hell. And the reason that I want to go to hell is because,
This I'm trying to order some.
I used to do that joke. I used to say, I would go to hell because I heard the wings is on fire.
Oh, wow.
Yo, that's funny.
No,
Yo, that's funny.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I like that.
Yes,
The reason I want to go to hell is because the only two people that's going to be in heaven is my grandfather and my grandmother. and all the rest of the heathens that I'm cool with gonna be down there.
Right.
So we're gonna have a ball down there. And plus, I've known my wife 25 years. It's
I'm
this
blessed.
girl that I've been wanting to have sex with since I got married.
No,
Until death do us part.
No.
If I go
till
to hell,
that's good. Now I get the
No.
when I
part.
go down to hell, she there. And I'm
Yeah.
tearing it down.
Oh,
Only got a hand that kind of touched
It'd be
me.
funny if you said, you know, she was a hoe when she was living, so I know where she at.
Thank you. I'm going right there. I'm
Listen, we are not just a radio
Yeah, I
show,
know
we are
she is.
also
You know, she
Yeah,
was
but-
a hoe when she was
comedy
living.
workshop.
When I went up there, like you said, when you go up there, you like, I don't know what I'm gonna do to make this family who just lost their loved one
Right,
feel better.
right,
And it was highly publicized death. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
right.
And like you said, it made me feel so good that them people after I left, you know how Italian folks started walking up to me, here man, give me tips or something like that. And you know,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh
Are you
yeah,
nervous about
yeah.
saying anything to offend?
Oh no. Chambersburg is the whitest place in America.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about with that?
You
Small
see
town
me,
America.
you
Small
saw me
town,
in-
white America.
I don't pull punches out there. When you came, we had more of a urban crowd. Now our demographic, since Nicole came, has been out there, is more corporate people.
That
You know
above,
what I
Is it
mean?
because of me?
Allentown?
No, it's a
Yeah.
joke.
That above Allentown?
No, it's
about 3.5 up.
Yeah, it's like it's like 2.5 up. It's
Okay.
it's a half hour, like a half hour, 40 minutes past Harrisburg.
I think I was up
It's
there.
a little.
Is it a little town?
It's a little town.
It's right off
Yeah.
one of the longest roads.
81, I think it is. Yeah.
I was up there. I had a lift up there.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Riding through the mountains.
Yeah.
So,
I
I
hear about
don't pull no punches when it comes to like
Mhm.
I talk about difference between whites and blacks, everything. The biggest crowd we've had out there that I performed in front of out there was 300 people,
Come on,
200
baby.
some people.
We got
And-
food on the way. Sorry.
That's what's
I
up.
didn't mean to be rude, but I was.
But it's
No, there ain't
We
food.
got
There
food.
ain't no food.
We got food coming.
It's not gonna be here.
I'm sorry,
till
LC.
4:05.
There's food coming.
Sorry, I was
Food.
being rude.
Food. And now back to your regular scheduled program.
Comedy. Some people just don't understand that comedy actually brings people together. Like,
Yeah.
So I said
And-
supposed to.
I never sugarcoat it
Mhm.
because of the fact, when it comes to whites and blacks, I never sugarcoat it. I have a section where when I have a big crowd of white folks that I break down because we always look at it as, okay, well, look, these corporate people or these white folks or these, they don't want to hear this. But they're the ones that
They're the
want
ones
to hear
that want to hear
that
it.
want to hear the most grimy
Yes.
stuff.
Yes, that's why they are the most grimiest comedians.
Well,
You hear them
I
talking.
think my first 2 years or 3 years of comedy, I never performed in front of a black audience. It was always a white audience.
Yeah. And they appreciate
And
My
then
first year
the
pretty much
difference,
was-
Yeah.
the difference in a black audience and a white audience is, black audience mentality is, okay, you have to make me laugh.
Mhm.
Quickly.
Yes.
You have to make me laugh. They start at 0, and you got to bring them to 10. And it's a tough task.
Yeah.
When you deal with a white crowd, they come already juiced up on level 5.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to do is get them
Yeah.
to
And keep them.
And they want to go.
Mhm.
right. It's like being with a woman.
Yeah.
If she ain't excited,
Yeah.
you in for a long
Like I
night.
said, they're coming.
Get to work.
They're coming
Right.
to laugh. Like you said, they're coming
Right,
already
they
to laugh.
coming
Right.
to
Exactly.
laugh.
Especially at the
So-
comedy club. I think it's
Right,
a comedy club
right.
versus an actual comedy
Like
event.
a
Right.
movie where they doing
But
it
even
right.
like I had to do an event this in October
Mm-hmm.
for FedEx. I did a corporate event in FedEx
Mm-hmm.
in Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
Went out there. Me and my wife went out there.
Z.
Nice hotel. Yeah, nice hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down to the ballroom for the event. And I said, all these people in costumes, white people do costumes.
Oh, yeah, big.
They do costumes.
Big.
It ain't Family Dollar, it ain't the
No.
party store.
No, that's
It's
$250 costume.
costume.
Yeah.
I mean, all these people in the costume, I'm thinking I'm in the wrong spot. So I go and ask the guy, hey, is this FedEx?
Mm-hmm.
The guy was like, oh, yeah, it's FedEx. I said, so is John here or whatever? And he was like, hey, let me go get him. So, it's like 300 people, everybody in costumes. So me and wife looking at each other like,
Well, you know which
okay.
one's John.
Right. So John comes over, right? John Batman.
Oh, wow.
He come over, like, oh, you the comedian? I was like, yeah. He said, they didn't tell you this was a costume? I said, no, but if you want to be in costume, we in blackface.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
So we sitting at the table. And everybody in costumes and me, my wife. Now, you know, Sandy Joy, her and I had a conversation a long time ago, and I was telling Sandy, sometimes, you know, when you do certain rooms, because Sandy was doing a lot of urban rooms, you know what I mean? And I used to always tell her, as a difference between a comic and a comedian can adapt. You have to be able to adapt on the spot.
Yeah.
Whatever what your crowd is, you should be able to adapt. I used to tell Sandy that. Adapt. You understand what I'm saying? So my wife.
So that's the comedian.
Right.
What's the comic?
A comic is someone that pretty much just read off their jokes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? A comic,
I'm trying to figure out which one.
a comic can't be heckled. You heckle a comic, you throw him or her off.
Right.
A comedian, see, a comedian is like a detour. You heckle a comedian, I'm gonna take that detour to deal with you.
Right.
But guess what?
And go back.
I'm gonna go right back,
Yeah.
on track.
I'm a crack baby.
Keep it moving.
I'm a crack
That's
baby.
a good breakdown.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't it?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give you an option. I'm gonna give you some options. You don't wanna do this.
Right. Just let you know.
Yo, I had dudes wanting to fight me at the show.
I was gonna ask y'all about that.
Because I cracked on this one dude so hard, he was ready to fight me after the show.
Wow.
What was you ready to do?
Huh?
Go home, baby.
Go on the
Take
chat.
this girl.
Run.
I
You ain't that
was
clean.
ready.
So is that, did you
Was that when you was still
Hold on.
Was that when you were still
I'm
Alright,
a
that
Golden
was
Glove
clean.
boxer. I'm sorry.
Well, what did you say or do? What was the concept? What you said that got him there?
I had a
Because y'all both two big guys.
I
I was
used
gonna say,
to,
has
And I wouldn't
anyone
say
been
some
offended
shit that would
and never
make
when
tried to
I
break
was
y'all?
doing separate comedy, I used to keep a pair of women panties in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the jokes that I used to do is when somebody used to help me with a girl, I used to pull the panties out and be like, look, she already gave me these already. And throwing at them.
Already ready.
Mhm.
Already ready.
I said, baby, don't you gotta, see, everyone got a pair of white panties or red panties in their drawer. Baby, don't you got a pair of red panties? She like, yeah, I do. Yeah, they are right here. They used to get them.
So y'all be ready to F you up too? I be ready to F you up too. Yeah.
When I was a second comedian, I was vicious. So you did not want to heckle me because I would go into the point where you'd be ready to fight.
Do you feel like you're missing anything with not being that kind of way? Like anything you want to say that you can't say because it's clean or anything?
Well, here's the thing. I used to use the Gospel King of Comedy. I took that off my title because I didn't want to be labeled as a gospel comedian.
Gotcha.
Right.
I'm a person
Okay.
that does clean comedy.
Gotcha.
So that way I can go to any venue
Yes.
and perform.
Yes.
And when I first went on tour with Joe Torre, and on a, Joe Torre is a secular comedian. The guy, Johnny Hollywood, was a secular comedian, was another comedian. And the promoter said, you know what, for some reason, let me tell you how God worked, how I got on that tour. When the promoter and I was communicating with each other back and forth for like a whole year on Facebook. And he said, hey, you know what, when I get a chance, when I set this up, I'm definitely gonna bring you out to Germany. True story. He didn't pick me to go initially, but he had
You say Germany, right?
Germany, yeah.
Okay.
And I've been overseas 5 times.
Go with comedy.
Yeah, with comedy.
Go ahead there.
So when he called me up and said, Joe, tell me you got a passport. I said, yes, I do. He said, give me your information. I'm booking you your flight for Germany. He said a comedian that he had picked to go didn't have his passport yet. And he said, I'm booking you right now.
So that teaches us to be ready.
I got
Right?
my
So look, when I got to Germany,
I got my makeup.
the very first show I did, the promoter was nervous. He said, because you a gospel, you a clean comedian, these guys are secular. So the club was kind of like, it was kind of like Punchline that way.
Okay.
So they had the mic on the stage, but they had an open floor. So I was the first one up. So what I did was I told the guy, take the mic stand off the stage, put it in the middle of the floor. So that way I could be in their face.
That's it.
So when I got done doing my routine, the promoter said, I knew I made the right choice. He said, you a straight fool. He said, you a straight fool. I knew I had them because I had to be in their face. I had to be close to them. The greatest feeling was when Joe Torre was late that particular show, he complained to the promoter. He said, I didn't want to be booked with another headliner.
So you talking about you?
He said, I didn't want to be booked with another headliner. So the other promoter that that was my chaperone, he said, yeah, Joe was highly upset because you didn't work tonight. You know what I mean?
So you did like 40 minutes. Right.
I did like 40, almost 50 minutes.
So how long do you know? You remember how long he did?
It took him about a good 20 minutes to get the crowd back. No comedian likes to work that hard.
Have you seen him after that in your career?
Yeah, we hung out anytime.
So the next time that you saw him, what was your conversation? Was it more so on a, yeah, this is the first time this has ever happened, you made me work, and was he honest with you?
No, what happened was he said, I'll make sure my ass ain't late no more.
That's real.
Right.
That is honest.
That's cool. You know.
Let me tell you, me and Joe, we talk from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look for a text message, the last text message that he sent me. We talk from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
We come to Philly. You know, sometimes we hang out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He hit me up, yo, Joe, I'm in town, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. When he did the Atlantic City comedy thing a few years back, he called me up. I drove to Atlantic City. And I think that's when I first met Teray.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I met him personally.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do a tour with Eddie Griffin a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And what happened was, crazy thing happened. I think at one point he had a substance abuse issue. So they canceled the tour. That would have been my first time actually going on tour with him. Wow. You know what I mean? What I was able to do, I've done shows with Tommy Davidson, like I said, you know, Tony Roberts and a few other comedians. Mm-hmm. So, but right now, this stage in my life, I just opened up my own, started doing my own comedy club.
Yes.
Which is It's Just Jokes Comedy
It's Just Jokes Comedy Club.
Yes, and I'm going on a year of doing shows.
Same spot.
Same spot. I've had this young lady on. I've had this young lady.
I had a beautiful time.
Yes, I had this young lady on.
That was a good show.
This young. I did an all-female comedy show.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
That was our show, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't know how I was going to pull it off because I had a bunch of people on my head. Oh man, they ain't gonna work. This and that.
How did it work?
It was
how to work.
It worked great.
That show was awesome.
It worked great. Yeah. A lot of people still talking about that show. Some people say that way. I got like over 40 something emails.
That was Dark Child.
Yeah, it was Dark Child. Yeah, and Janine Hall came from.
Everybody killed.
Everybody.
That's when I stopped bombing. From that shit. Stuff just got, that was a good show.
But let me tell you something. I think I booked you more than I booked any comedian.
So I was gonna say when I started my first guest spots and some of my first shows was with you, because I started out as a clean comic, and I still do clean comedy, but I'm shifting a little bit towards the nasty stuff.
Let me tell
you what, guys, and I know we not the most. I'm shifting back towards. Eventually, I'm going to be going back to clean. Permanently. It's hard.
I just know this is the cleanest that Nicole's been on this radio show ever. This is the cleanest. I don't know if it's you here or what.
I'm cursed a lot. I don't talk about
the first time.
First time we've had this show, right, audience, that Nicole has not revealed the other side of Nicole.
Okay. Like you said, that you see a lot of comedians on flyers you put on for the first time. Let me tell you, there were comedians that used to always call me and be like, yo, Joe, this is when he even started doing clean comedy. Joe, can I come, because, I do a lot of churches and stuff like that. Yo, Joe, can I come get 5 minutes? Can I come do 2 minutes or whatever? Yo, come through. A lot of comedians weren't even doing clean comedy until they hooked up and was, doing on my events.
Yep. Yeah.
So these same comedians, when they saw me do Warm Daddies, when they saw me do, I can probably go on record to say this, I was the first Philly comedian that did Punchline. The first Philly comedian to do Punchline. The Punchline wasn't letting nobody in that door. So these same comedians, when they saw me do Segler, do a Segler event, and do my thing, these same dudes was coming to me talking about, yeah, man, we ain't trying to come over there and mess with that church money. Why you over here trying to? These the same Negroes. These the same Negroes now you see on every other church flyer. Same cast that was like, oh man, we ain't trying to mess with that church money.
Somebody would say that to
That's where money at.
That's too bold.
That's where money
but let me tell you,
you're not messing with that. Why you messing
I've
with
been a full-time comedian for 8 years. 8 years. I've had years where I've made 6 figures.
Off comedy.
off comedy.
That's what's up, man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, and I move in silence. I don't tell anybody what I do. I don't tell anybody where I go.
That's
I don't
right.
post every flight I'm on. I don't
I'm
post
getting better with
every,
that.
you
Listen,
understand what I'm saying?
I'm getting better with that.
You know, you can't let everybody know what you're doing all the time.
It's maturity.
But here's something I'm gonna tell y'all that I ain't told nobody.
Uh-oh.
You're getting exclusive, y'all. Real shoot. No joke. Exclusive.
Real.
Boom, 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 boom.
That's why I ain't tell nobody. But I'm gonna tell y'all. I contacted somebody from Netflix. They're trying to do a special for next year on Netflix.
Oh, shit.
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I seen
So-
that. Netflix is a joke.
So what I'm working on this year
Come on now.
is to shoot my own special.
Nice.
It's gonna be called The Book of Job, Volume 1.
I like that. I like all that. Oh, I like
Once
that.
I shoot it,
I like that.
I'm going to
Oh, yeah.
present it to Netflix.
I like that.
And if they buy it, that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on. My goal this year is to work on and to be the #1 clean comedian in the country.
Come on, baby.
The #1.
yeah, set them goals, man.
So I guess the question that I would have to ask you that would come with that, what's the legacy that you want to leave?
I still want to know how comedy
We got other
saved your
Oh, we
life.
still have other
Oh,
questions, but I
yeah.
want to know that because, I mean, you're.
Well, you know, my first legacy is to be a great father. Continue to be a great father.
How many children do you have?
I have 3.
How old? If you don't mind.
I have 2 older children from my first marriage. My daughter's 29,
Oh, grown.
right? She's a graduate at St. John University.
Come on,
She
now.
out the
God
house.
bless.
She,
Do it,
she
baby.
ain't coming back. Matter of fact, she giving you money.
You know, she owns
Money.
investment.
All right.
My son is 24.
Mhm.
He's a graduate of Millersville University, Tampa.
Nice.
And he works for, I think, the IRS or government or something like that.
Oh, write his number down right here.
And I have a
Right
daughter
here.
6 years old.
Right here.
Now, wait a minute. You're not going to just slide at it. You're not going to slide at a 29-year-old, a 24-year-old, oh, and I got a 6-year-old. What?
Yeah.
Wait, I missed that because I was
Exactly.
still trying
See,
to tap up the 24-year-old. This is a 6-year-old?
But she was at,
Yeah.
you right
Well,
like
Did her
that
tubes
again,
become
or is it
untied and then it was like, oops, I did it again?
No, you know, I remarried. I got divorced in 2006.
Because with the landlord thing.
Yeah.
I know.
No, let me tell you something. Even after that, we bought a house and everything together. And when I rolled in 2006, when I divorced, I gave it a house and everything.
So dip.
Yeah.
2006 need to be 2020. Y'all need to give it up.
So,
Yeah, I
the
did
new
not.
wife, is she a little younger and she wanted the child, or you
Well,
just still want the child with her?
Well, she's a lot younger.
Ain't nobody playing with you.
We're about 16 years.
Look at that smile on his face. This nigga happy.
I see nothing wrong.
Oh, was that your midlife crisis?
No,
Right.
let me tell you how me and my wife met. This is crazy.
I'm gonna ask you too, when you midlife crisis, because we all
My
of
wife, I was a bank manager for PNC.
McDonald's, PNC.
Yeah, I was a manager for PNC. And her mother and her stepfather was clients of mine. Right?
You worked in through the parents. I see you go.
Right, but
To get to the door. You see
no,
that?
no,
Work through the parents to get to
No,
the
here's
kids.
the funny thing.
You see it?
No, here's the funny thing about it. Her mother and her stepfather was clients of mine at the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were getting married, she hired me to perform at the wedding. I performed at her mother's and stepdad's wedding. I remember seeing my wife at the wedding, but I never said anything to her. It was just a glimpse. I remember seeing her. So her church, her mother and them attended. They wanted me to host an event. I hosted the event. My wife at the time, she couldn't be there because she had to work. So when she heard about me, because she was in charge of the youth. So when she heard about me, she came to the bank to meet me for us to set up the event for church.
Okay.
Never seen her before. I didn't even know that who she was related to her mother and her stepdad. I didn't know that was her mother. So when we started talking, we started going out, She thought I was, at the time, she was 22. She thought I was about 26, 27.
So she was like, no,
Right.
baby, I'm Marlboro man.
So look, when
I done been through a marriage and two grown
let me tell
ass
you how her
kids.
mother found out we were dating. I called her phone one day, and you know, my first name came up, Joe. Her mother thought it was her job.
Uh-huh.
She answered the phone.
Mhm.
Hi, this is Ania's mother. Is this her job?
Mhm.
I said, no.
No, this is Joe.
Joe. And she was like, Joe. She was like, I only know one Joe, but he worked at the bank. I was like, that's him.
Wow.
She's like, hold on, what are you gonna call her my daughter? I said, Zania's your daughter?
Wow.
She was like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, you know, we friends or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
38-year-old me.
I was 38.
Well, her 22-year-old daughter, I'd have broke
Yes.
them too.
But
she over
right,
20.
She ain't no joke. But,
Right, but see,
except for
but
the
let me
bank.
tell you something. Her mother and I always had a rocky relationship. Her mother really didn't like me and I really didn't care. But when I decided to marry her, I bought her, I think, a 2-carat diamond ring. I took her mother and her stepdad out to dinner.
Mhm.
And I made it clear to them, I'm not asking for your permission. I would love to have your blessings,
Come on.
but it will happen anyway.
Mhm.
That I'm going to marry her and I will be responsible for her and I will take care of her.
Come on now.
Wasn't nothing they can say. That was 13, 14 years ago. 13 years ago. She never had to look back not one time or need her mother or anybody for anything when she came with me.
Mhm.
When I met her, she was struggling in college, right? She was working full-time. She had a car payment, insurance, whatever. This is what I did. Baby, work 2 days a week. I'll cover your car payment, your insurance, and your bills.
I'm struggling in my bills.
Right.
The views and the
I'm
ideas and the
struggling
stories that are
with
expressed of the people that are guests on
I'm
our
struggling
show
with my
are
car
not real
line.
and
I
are
don't
not
have no
from anything that
parents.
any of us have all this
Let me
I'm
tell
an
you.
orphan.
Okay.
I got
Let me
bad
tell you,
credit. I'm a good person.
My wife is the bomb. She
You got
graduated from college, right, with honors. She got her master's degree,
Come on now.
right? And she's a realtor
Come on.
as well as a teacher.
Now, don't you also have?
When I was talking about my son, didn't
Yeah.
you tell me to take it to Oprah?
Right?
Yeah.
So what you got to say,
That's
OC?
it.
Take it to
Hold on,
Oprah.
rub your eyes, though.
Take
You
it
like
to
it.
Oprah.
No, but you look, I didn't even know he had teeth until y'all mentioned his this big old cheese smile.
Tell it.
Look,
Came out 16 years different. You smile too.
But let me tell you something. This comedy game will weigh you down. It will weigh you down if you listen to what everybody say.
Yes.
I don't roll with no clique.
No.
I ain't got no, I ain't got no crew I hang with. It ain't Job and such a, no, it's Job by himself. Because I believe whatever God got for me is for me. It ain't for me to, you understand what I'm saying? See, when you on a plane, don't they tell you when the oxygen mask drop down, put yours on first? Because you can't help nobody.
That's true.
If you ain't there yet.
That's
It's like you're doing a sermon right now.
It's real talk.
But it's real talk.
It's relative.
I've learned that so many times. Like, I'm cordial with everybody. Every comedian, I'm cordial with them, but can't nobody, like, I don't have no clique, no team.
That's right. You
I don't know nothing. When I pull up every show by myself.
do.
Yep.
I might,
Or with wifey.
and the thing is, even my wife don't come to many shows.
Right.
The other day, when y'all met my wife at Folks Lounge, comedians that I've been friends with for years, that was their first time ever meeting my wife, because she don't come out often. But I roll by myself. I got people that I'm cool with, people like Mel Harris that I started with, and me and him, we did shows and went on the road a million times. That's my family.
Right.
But as far as like us being a clique, we're not.
Right.
I don't have no clique, I don't have no team like you said.
Yeah.
That's true.
I can sit over there and you can speak the rest and be speaking for both of us. Like you said, when it comes, no, seriously, when you said when it comes to so much stuff that I do, that I don't publicize or broadcast.
Yeah, no, right.
For what?
Right.
For what? Like, the only reason I'm going to mention this is because they already said it.
Yes.
But Bikini Body was one of the first people I put on stage.
Yeah.
She came in the Mill Creek Tavern. Nobody would give her a chance.
Yeah.
I said, look, I don't know if you're funny or not.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
She went up there on stage and she went and performed. You know what I mean? And the only reason I even mentioned her name is because earlier when you asked me about it, she rose her hand.
Yeah.
But these are people that I will give you a chance in a minute because somebody gave me a chance.
Right.
It was an open mic. They gave me a chance though.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's how it works.
Somebody giving us chances.
But
What y'all feel
Right.
about this Philly comedy? How do y'all feel about the Philly comedy family? How y'all feel? Where we at?
Philly comedy is like crabs in a barrel.
Mhm.
Because, like I said, I've had folks who I help eat ain't even turn around and say, "Hey, Joe, I want to," you know what I mean? Excuse me, ain't even did it. Male or female, ain't never did it.
Now you talking about the new comedians, the new era, or the old?
I put
Any
stuff your way,
OG.
but I don't have shit. That's
Right? No. I ain't talking about. Look.
But
Do you
I-
think? Do you?
No,
I
I
understand.
think about you. I'm like,
Right.
I don't have nothing to give.
A lot of
I'm
people
saying,
look.
I can understand the mentality of that, but do you think that at any time, maybe because they feel like they don't have the money, they can't offer?
Yeah, well, I was about
That's what
to
I'm trying to say.
And guess what? And I understand it, but see, but with comedians, we have a code.
Mhm.
If you call me to do a show, I'm gonna do that show for you.
That's it.
If a promoter call me, if you ain't share a stage with me, you a promoter.
Okay.
So like I said, my practice is gonna be that for a promoter,
Got it.
not that for a comedian.
Right.
And that's my thing. Like, to me, I own Legacy of Ladders. Okay, I own a t-shirt company, which Got Your Back Tees. That's my company. My wife
Got your back tees.
My
Listen in, folks.
wife has an event planning company, Right to Vision Event Planning. Like, so not to say that I don't need the money,
Right.
but I'm okay.
Right.
With money.
Right.
So my thing is, it's not always about the money to me. I like to.
I'm not okay.
Like,
I'm not okay.
No, because the reason you're saying that.
Take it to
Right.
Oprah. Take it to Oprah.
You're a full-time comedian, like you said. So I understand it. But with me, it's to the point. Sometimes with me, it's about the growth and the connections that we can make together.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I'm not going to charge everybody. You know what I mean? Like, some people just get it messed up, and they put money over the long run, or what can happen. You know what I mean? In the long run.
Right. Because my goal.
Yes.
My goal is it's not the money. The money will come. But my goal is to be the best comedian on that stage. And I try, like you said, you have different styles. I like there are times where I'm a little animated. You see me I might be a little animated or whatever. But there are times where I just stand there and just wing these jokes like, look, y'all gonna get them or y'all ain't gonna get them.
And self-deprecation. You make self-deprecation positive.
Yeah.
Like what?
Talking about being heavy set.
So
Being a
like,
big guy.
I got a line coming out called Heavy Set and Handsome that I'm going to introduce real soon, and it's going to feature a lot of heavy set dudes.
That's handsome.
there you go. You already got your mouth. Go ahead, baby.
Yeah. So I'm doing Heavy Set.
Oh, see, come on.
Oh, Steve, you are not ugly.
Like you said, my very first situation where I put together a tour was called the Fat Tour. Funny ass trio. All three of us was fat. And that's what we started the show with. The show, the Fat Boy, that song would come on. And like you said, I always talk about my weight.
Right.
So
if you can't make fun of yourself,
how you gonna make
matter of fact, that's what disarmed the crowd.
That's it.
I love it.
Because here's the thing. One thing I learned.
Listen to learn, folks. Listen to
I
learn.
had to learn this, and I think I might say it to you.
Listen to learn, folks.
Address the elephant in the room.
Which is really the elephant.
Right, and what happens is it opens them up to other things.
They be like,
So not every joke is gonna have to be a fat joke.
Right.
But guess what? I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. But the first thing you see is right. I'm big, but so the first thing I say is let me move this mic stand out the way.
Right.
So y'all
Yes,
can
you
see
do.
me.
Yes, you do.
That's why.
Yes, you do.
Anybody else say that line? That's my line.
Yeah.
I had a comedian do that line on The View. That was the last time I ever posted anything of mine on Facebook.
See that's one of my biggest problems is because I don't write a lot. I just write down the topic and then I'll go off it. But one of my biggest problems, and I always get yelled at about this by a few people whose name I won't mention, but they always say stop putting funny stuff online because people are going to take it. And it's to the point where like, I don't think about it.
They gonna take it, they hear
Because
it. They gonna take it, they hear it.
You know why you don't think about it?
Don't say that years ago.
You know why you don't think about it? Because you got so much that you gonna come up with on a regular basis.
Right.
It's like giving somebody $100 when you got 100,000. It ain't gonna bother you because you look, I got more.
Like,
you know what I mean?
One of the main things that I always get, like you said, what your first thing you always say is me move this mic so y'all can see me.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things I always say when I go on stage is, if any of y'all thought I was Anthony Anderson, the hell with you.
Yeah, yes, you do.
Because since 2001, when I was a manager at Coconuts Music and Movies, I've been told, oh, you like the boy Anthony Anderson, you like the dude from Kangaroo Jack. So I always address that first.
Yeah.
You gotta address, like you said,
that's how I do my
jokes.
jokes. I don't write whole jokes. I
Me too.
I just write taglines.
Yeah.
That's all I do. And I look at them and I be like, okay, the homeless joke.
I got
you
mine
know,
like that. I wish mine was like
yeah,
that. So, see how
like-
mine is? Like,
No, say,
We have to take a break and pay
fat
some
people across the
bills.
street.
And I wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
also
yeah,
let
yeah.
everybody know,
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't write full
we
jokes.
have the adult hour that is coming up next.
Yes, yes.
And I wanted our
Yours like
two
mine.
guest comedians to ponder the thought of, at first I was going to say it with the vulgarity, but since I want to say it secularly, I'm going to say it clean. How many beauties that you've vetted because of comedy?
So y'all think about that.
Y'all think about that.
I'll see like,
I'll tell you how many.
I'm telling you from the can't get into that.
you got
To
it.
the well.
Yeah, she cleaned it up because the first way she had it, I'm trying to tell y'all.
I
She
can tell
cleaned
you mine now.
So that's on the other side?
That's on the other side.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going to adult hour after this.
Okay.
So we will see you in 2 and 2 because we got bills to pay, color
We
people
do.
time. It might be 4 and 4. But we'll be back, y'all. Stay tuned for more. Real no joke.
All right, I got to see.
Stick 'em.
That's used to
Yeah,
be
You gonna make a
my-
phone call. I gotta see what's going on.
Stick 'em.
I don't know if it's
So what kind of food you order?
I wanted.
I know. What did you want? It's like taking like 85 years.
Excuse me, complaining.
First of all, we're still waiting for it, so of course we're gonna keep complaining.
You should not.
Why? Because it's not here yet.
Yo, you know, I remember that day at Mill Creek.
I do too.
I do.
I remember my ass
You
shaking
know-
in
you know-
that back area waiting
you know-
near
you
the
know
bathroom,
who
like
a-
fuck. I'm a shit myself. Like, why did I do this? And why did he say yes? Oh my god!
Oh,
And
wow.
it was busy. It was every seat was filled, and
And
you had it so that you can walk this way. There was like the aisle that came from the stage, and then the aisle that went down
Guys,
to the
take this
front,
over
and
here
then
a
the
little
aisle
bit.
that
Just
went
watch that
across.
cord.
That's my son.
And that was like
Let me see what this is looking like.
intimidating to me. And then getting up on that stage, and then like, oh my god, I'm actually on the stage. Wait, this stage little as shit. Wait, this shit little and higher. Like,
I was saying, like, I want to bring you out there to
Yeah.
Chambersburg. But there's two things with Chambersburg. One, I don't like. I'm starting to get more female comedians. Starting to get more female comedians. But what I usually do is, out there, and Jay will tell you, so Nicole, I try to pair it up to where though I got a couple female comedians so they can share a room. What I usually do is it's 2.5 hours away. So I'll usually get them a room to share. But I ain't been having, you know what I mean,
Right.
many women too. And then also getting up there. Sometimes I go the day before, so you would have to be able to get up.
okay,
You know what I mean? And I try to partner with comedians also so they can all ride together.
right.
So like I said, I'll get you up there, but Anwar's been doing a lot of, like, I've been pushing everybody to him because I got so much other stuff going on. So, I'll get you out there.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about it is,
But I also believe that you told me to do something and my ass didn't remember. So
I
I
told you
remember.
twice.
I remember my ass forgot to remember.
Because I've been telling everybody.
Yeah.
Go to
And I'm
him.
like, Anwar, why that sound familiar? Yeah.
But Nicole and Jay came out there on total different demographics I had. When I first started, my first 7 months was in this little smoky bar. We still go to that bar after the show.
Right after the show.
I heard about that bar,
We still go to the bar after the show and have fun, but it was this little smoky ass bar. And the regional manager of the Clarion Inn came in on our show one day and she loved it. And then that's how we got the sponsorship with the Clarion. So now we're at the Clarion where we got more corporate white folks coming. And the part of the bar was the hoodest ever. So now our
From
demographic.
corporate to hood to fat.
Yeah, now our demographic is totally different. So,
Mhm.
you know, also that's another reason why certain people I haven't brought yet,
Mhm.
because of the fact I don't want them to go out there and
Scare them.
and no, not scare them, but not,
Tell them like on child.
but not, you know, what I mean, not have the content for them,
That was it.
not have the content for them, and actually, you know, I wouldn't say bomb, but they don't enjoy themselves.
Okay.
Because and a lot of folks that like you, I hadn't seen you perform in years
I know.
until recently.
Uh-huh.
Again, so a lot of folks, I'm on some. All right, even if I see you years ago, I still need to see you perform again to know if you're gonna fit that demographic. Because some people be like, you shouldn't even care whether they bomb or not, but I do.
Right.
Because one, it's my show.
Right.
And
that's
two,
your name.
I don't want you to go out there and come back when I bomb. Like, I don't want nobody to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
That's just
I'm
me.
like, oh, so
weird
you
like
had me all gummed up all these years.
that. I, you know, so that's just my whole thing.
Oh, no, you good. You ain't listen.
But
I told you before, everything is coming at a pace. And patience is the virtue. And I know when my season and my reason.
no, like I said, I mean, but I got you. I mean, I definitely do.
Hey, all right, we'll be right back.
All right, go ahead and have your lung fest. I got what's the name radio show Monday.
Monday? What?
What's her name? Pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I
talked to her today.
It's,
you on that too, ain't you? No,
No.
I don't think somebody else.
she's
is on
Nicole something, Davenport.
Yeah.
Okay.
You, I mean, I know it was you this week. Somebody else is on there with me with her on her show. No, but that if you don't mind me adding that little piece. No, I'm talking about that girl. Like I knew she was a freak up here.
Yeah. You know, just say when she was topside.
Yeah,
she was tops.
Yeah,
Man, she on the bottom side.
Yeah, I definitely, cause that's why I'm like, yeah, you know, this girl I knew, you know, before I got married, like, you know, I've been wanting to take down, but to do his part, and I know she's gonna be down there. So, you know.
She definitely gonna be down there. See, this is my spot here.
That's nice. Nice, intimate, yeah.
That's a dope time,
Yeah, it was real nice and intimate in there. It made you do good, the setup.
Yes, sir.
Who's that?
McKinney.
Oh, you got her on tape?
I think I might have got you too.
I need that for this comedy thing I'm applying for.
Go ahead. How long is it?
My accent would change, and that's one time I realized, oh, I think Shaka's food might have been having right now. Because when she was leaving this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got material that, you know, will work for it. It's just like I said, I did one clean comedy show, and I didn't even know I was doing it. I didn't know it was clean. I'll say that. A friend of mine called me about a show, and he said, "Look, I got a spot for you." The lady said she got an extra spot. So I'm like, all right, but he didn't even know. So we on our way drive. It was in Jersey, like almost 40 minutes, from South Philly where I live. And the whole ride there, like, I don't smoke, but he was smoking. I'm drinking E&J. This is when I used to heavily drink.
Right.
So we on the road, and I'm toe up off this E&J. He's smoking. We walk in, he see his friend. He, the lady that booked us. He's like, yo, what's going on?
It's my logo.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah.
He's on my logo.
He like, that's my friend right there. So we see his friend. She said, yeah, I want y'all to meet my sister, the one who's paying y'all. The lady comes out the office with a pastor's robe on. I'm like, oh my God, I know I smell like, we were supposed to have weed because we was in the car, he's smoking. I'm smelling like E&J. She's like, yeah, nice to meet y'all. Yeah, this is my church's fashion show. My church's fashion show. And I'm like, oh, she's like, everything got to be clean. And I was like, oh my God, I'm about to do 10 minutes. and I did it, I mean, I just, didn't curse. I still, I went around and used some, some stuff
That's
I
what you
did
do.
have.
You
Yeah,
just read
but I have.
replacement words, right?
I replaced some words, and then I also
Cut out.
did some jokes that I had never used before at all. That wasn't really harsh, and then I did the actual, I want to go to hell joke, and I'm like, I said I probably shouldn't say this here. I said I need y'all to pray for me, but when I die, I want to go to hell. And one lady up front was the guinea pig. She was like, "Really? Why do you want to go to hell?"
You made her
And I was like,
have
she's like, "Why do you want to go to hell?" I was like, "I'm gonna tell you why I want to go to hell."
Right, it was able to talk to the audience. Yeah.
So when I told that joke, I was actually talking to her because she was like, "Why do you want to go to hell?" And I was like, "This is why I'm gonna tell you why I want to go to hell." And I start talking to her, so it kind of worked. But that used to be one of my biggest fears. That used to be one of my biggest fears. Chanel used to always say to me, "Why is that a fear of yours?"
Because I would think you would be a killing comedian.
I could try.
Him? This is demeanor. Most of my comedy shows is clean. Like that's where I get most of my gigs
every
from.
time I booked her, it was always a clean.
I started out clean comedy, but Chanel told me she had did a shift too.
Yeah,
she did, and we talk about it a lot. She was like, Nick, she was like, eventually, as you get more experience and stuff, you might take a turn going back to clean, because you can do clean comedy anywhere. You'll always send book your tapes to everybody. Nobody won't be appalled. It's safe.
And see,
it's hard.
But that was one of the reasons why I started taking the N-word, or I took the N-word out, was because my demographic in Chambersburg. Now, majority of them are white.
Yeah.
Couples too. Yeah, they're couples, but they're
mixed couples.
Yeah, they're mixed couples, but majority of them are white. And I was just like, so I started getting older white people, and I'm like, well, a lot of them get turned off or afraid of that word.
Or feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, feel uncomfortable with that word. So I was like, I got to start taking it out.
I had to learn that too.
And I did, and like I said, a lot of the content I've been trying to switch also, because it'll open up more doors. It'll open up more doors.
This is my first time ever ordering from Uber Eats. I just keep watching. I'm sorry.
It'll be here tomorrow.
First, it got a little tracker and shit. First she was 11 minutes away. Now she's 14. She must got lost.
Yeah, she must.
She like my mom. She like an Eric. Look at her guard and shit. That's my mom.
Yeah, she must.
Oh, wow. My mom is.
Yeah, she must have.
But like I said, this comedy game, man. You sometimes you just gotta be to yourself, and that's how
I learned that.
And I learned it because, like I said, I mean, whether it was with the music stuff or the comedy stuff, I've done so much for so many people, and it was just like, it was just like people just start,
They don't look.
Both of y'all.
Got weird,
like I said,
all sexy and all nice.
Like I said,
it's like men's in here.
It's like men's. It's like 10 minutes away.
I put people on. They got their own stuff they doing. They don't call us. They joke. Right, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then you know what I hate? When you go to a show and you hear comedians talk about the comedian that's on stage.
Yeah.
I had a couple known comedians do that crap. Yeah. And you know what I say to them? They not performing for us.
But that's another reason. If you ever see me at shows, I'm usually away from the group of comedians, and I always sit, sort of by myself.
Yeah, that's me. When I go to Warm Daddy, I ain't sitting with all the comedians.
Yeah, because two reasons. There should be no reason why the comedians are the loudest people in the building talk shit. Like, I hate when I go to shows and the comedians are in the corner loud as hell, and somebody on stage. Yeah. But they get pissed off if they go on stage and they hear somebody talk.
I hate to sound so cliche, but that's a hard thing getting up there. I don't care how, like you said, you don't care how long you've been doing, you still get nervous. And things could throw you off, especially, I don't know.
No, I don't get no nervous because I'm knowing how much they're paying me. If they ain't paying me, Jack, I'm like this.
With me too is
you gonna get what you get. You about to get whatever joke you
get what you pay for.
And that's one of the reasons why the comedians that I do pay for my shows, I don't pay them from the door.
No,
I pay when they walk in.
I'm already done.
You acting like you ain't never
I was
been
gonna
to
say when
my
I
show.
got there, you gave me my envelope. I was like,
First of
ugh.
all, I had that room to myself.
It made me
That was
happy
nice-
just being
that was
there.
one of the nicest hotel rooms I've ever been.
I put everybody pay and I don't know.
By yourself.
And my wife was
You know, I got that
Yeah.
video. You know, I got the video.
Yeah. No, we at a different place now.
I know.
But the other,
All right.
but yeah, like I said, it's a lot of things that I just don't like to do. And I don't feel like people that I helped
That's what I
out,
was thinking.
or, put
I don't
on.
get
I was like the old.
My thing is,
Especially when you're a good comedian.
My
You gotta
thing
lose
is-
nothing in addition to that.
if I put money in your pocket and you got
From some-
folks ain't did
Throw
that
me
yet.
something.
Folks ain't did it yet. And I look back, this is why, I don't know if y'all probably know Derek Lee. And when he came out and started performing,
My mom.
a lot of comedians be hating on him. And this is what I tell
Really?
him. Yeah, they be hating on him. This is what I tell Derek. I said, you like MC Hammer. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when MC Hammer first came out, everybody was saying he was a whack rapper.
Right.
Dancer.
Right. And his rapping skills.
His
they
rapping
attacked his
skills,
rapping
yeah,
skills.
right, yeah.
MC Hammer said, I'm not a rapper. I'm an entertainer.
You talking about the other guy, the magician?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just actually met him recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
He's dope.
right.
Yeah.
And this is what
And
I
he was
thought.
on Q show.
Right, yeah, 3 times.
Hello?
So this what I said to Derek. I said, you gotta
Oh,
tell him,
right.
you an entertainer. You ain't no comedian.
He did that at the last show. He did it at Voice 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But one thing I told him, he said, you got a network. You got a network.
Yeah.
You got
But
the
see,
ear,
but see, but
but at the same time, because I talk to Derek every single solitary day, every day.
this is
And he's like, why don't they receive me? Because you don't, no, there is no all.
No, that's what I wanna say.
Because like
That's
I
what I
said to
feel.
him, when we went in Voice, Shay said hey to both y'all.
Right, right.
She said hey,
so I'll be
called
over
your
the
name
night.
out, said
I'll
hey.
be over the night.
But nonetheless, he said when we walked in, Shay was like, hello, this is the second time I done said something to you. Now Shay is at the door, so when you come in, you have to greet who's
Yeah.
So not only is she at the door, but she's the promoter of the show that you're on. And you're not doing an open mic, you're doing a feature part. So you should have came in and presented yourself.
Let me
So
say
you
this.
can't complain about
Right.
something that you don't do.
Let me say this about Derek, and I told Derek this, that
He's adapting.
you have to be acceptable to people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't walk in there like you the SHIT and like everyone is, you know what I mean? You gotta be acceptable to people. But see, here's my thing with 2020. I'm not trying to do every open mic. I don't do it. I went and did Keep From Up the Block open mic one time, said never again. You know why? Because I hate performing for a bunch of comedians. You understand what I'm saying? If there were an audience there,
I'm gonna go sit over there because you're speaking for both of us.
if there were an audience, then that's what gets me hyped to perform. You understand what I'm saying? Like LeBron said this week, when they say that they wasn't gonna have the crowd in there, he said, then why play the game?
That's what he said.
Yeah, why play the game? Then I play for the crowd.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I do, when I wanna do open mic, I wanna do open mic in front of people, not comedians. I'm not performing for comedians. So when
I did a comedy show one time, not because it's a bad room, none of that stuff.
no, I ain't a bad
I
room.
did it one time, and that was for Chris Cotton's memorial show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did that because he kind of put me on the spot, because he came up to me and was like, yo, I'm introducing you next.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do it. But same way, I just don't.
That's why I said open mic, y'all don't see me at. Cause once I go in there and peep it and see what it is, see what it's about,
Right.
I leave.
So for
Like,
Derek
all right.
Gaines, the reason why I did the all thing is because
Oh, there it is.
it's
Derek Lee.
excuse me, Derek Gaines. Oh Lord, Derek Lee.
My-
You know, he considers himself a musician. I mean, a
magician.
Magician.
So
Yeah.
it's like, and I guess like he's trying to blend into a new it's hard
Yeah, he's
because
trying to add,
and
you
he's
know,
adjusting and finding his space, and it's a whole different form of social skills you gotta have when you're around
trust me,
comedians
I
and
talk to Derek
promoters
every
and
day,
shows,
and
and he's gonna get it. He's gonna adapt to it.
Right,
He's gonna figure it
What
out.
time is the show?
Eight-ish.
We'll probably go like 8:15.
Oh, I don't care. I don't know. I knew it was like 8-ish. I'm like, well, we about to lose some time, man.
look,
But
Yeah,
we're about to go
And then-
live again.
Mhm.
But I was
but
trying to do,
we're
I
live.
apologize. For some reason, the encoder wasn't working. so it's not streaming. So I had to send him the information so he can try to do it. So that's what I was working on before I went live. So
Well, we live on.
and what y'all was discussing, I mean, we share everything, but that's something we want to say to share online. So I was still
That's
giving
good.
us that time that we could still just
I
talk.
thought
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with whatever. I mean,
But we're about to go live, and of course, I'm gonna let you know. We gotta take another picture, y'all.
I'm going to work till Tuesday.
Party over here, yeah, party over here, yeah.
Oh, no, because I'm off Thursday, Friday, then.
What kind of work do
I work for American, I'm a ticket agent.
Yeah.
He fly, he gets to fly wherever he goes.
Oh,
Look at him,
You
you
can't
fly
fly
like-
no
like-
right
shit right
What
there.
do you know about that? I didn't ask you about that.
Yeah, that's cheap as
So
hell.
the prices they are really cheap right now, and I get the insurance. Right here, just hear me out. I'm gonna buy the ticket. It ain't for the date that I want, but I want that ticket price. I'm getting the insurance. I'm gonna cancel that ticket because of the coronavirus, but then I'm gonna be good for what, a year,